Welcome to What Does Your Soul Want You to Know with me, Michelle Wright. And today we're going to be doing a few card readings and do readings for anyone who comes in the chat. Today we have just a beautiful message as we continue to move into this powerful month of December, the ending of our 9-year, and just continuing to play. That's what the old magic oracle card is talking about, is playful energy, just coming to this ending with a playfulness and a joy and a happiness. And it's really talking about co-creating with spirit, looking at, with this playfulness, how can you work with your spirit team, with what you're desiring, what you're wanting, and move forward with that, and not coming out of your mind. And with this, what I mean is that our mind sets so many limits about what we can or cannot do or how it's going to happen. And then we worry about that. And then the next one is surrender to play. Isn't that amazing that these are the ones that are telling us about what's happening? And it's all about play and co-creation. Oh, and you're back again, and you have 3 questions. And isn't that wonderful? I think I'm Pedro. I'm not sure if it's Pedro, but Yahoo Pedro. Will I receive some unexpected news this week? Well, it's also talking with you about playing. So let's see what they're going to tell us today about playing. Okay, and I've got my Lightseer Tarot. Oh, yes, it is Pedro. Okay. Okay, Pedro, what is it talking to you about playing? Okay, I'm going to pull 3 cards. We have the Knight. No, it's not. What is it talking to you about playing? Will you receive some unexpected news? We have the Knight of Swords in a reversal, 6 of Cups, and 3 of Cups. So the Knight of Swords is a card. So swords is the suit of air. And for you, it came up in protection. And the Knight of Swords is this quick, fast energy that's coming in. So initially I'm getting no, there's not new news that's coming in as quickly as you think it's going to come. So it's a different timing than what you anticipate. But it is getting you to, in this playfulness, and I'm getting it tied to the playfulness, you have the 6 of Cups, which is really looking at nostalgia and things that make you happy, things that make you joy-filled. I know right here we have the all the celebrations of Our Lady of Guadalupe. I know that's happening here near PV. So there's so many beautiful celebrations that connect and that might be coming alive where you are. And you have the 3 of Cups, which is your friends, your community, and joining in with that, and your family. So I'm not sure the news that is coming in is going to be waiting until you allow yourself to not want it as much. Isn't that always the way it kind of works? Whenever we don't want it, then the things come in. Whenever we're anticipating it, then it's coming in. And you're saying, no, I mean bad, unexpected news. I've been wondering if the 3 new mates that came by my new job are there to replace me. And that's what I worried the first 2 days after I talked to you last week. Okay, are they there to replace you? Looking at that specifically, looking at there to replace you? No, I have them as they're there to be part of what's going on. It's getting busier and busier, and it's this anticipation that they want to continue to make sure that they have the people that are there to support the people. So that's what this is then saying. That news is not coming in. Right. So you're saying, because if you thought it was, then your boss would have told you earlier. Yeah, I think they're just anticipating for the busy season coming in. So it's not coming in, and that's why I see the 3 of Cups. The 3 of Cups is it's actually expanding your group. It's expanding. And in this vein, it's so when it comes to the 6 of Cups is really talking about nostalgia. So it's talking about history. So what about this is making you worried that it's the same thing as what happened before? So I know you talked about some things that you were going to do differently or how you were going to do them differently. And have you managed to do that? Have you managed to shift them? Because this news is not coming in. That news you were fearing, it's not coming in. It's growing the 3 of Cups. But it is getting you to reflect on what is different from the last or what is the same. So you're saying, yes, it makes sense because it's Christmas and apparently there's going to be lots of clients in the hotel at Christmas time. So I feel that's what I heard the boss saying. We need more people. Yes, you need more people in your team. And as well, they talk about the big season coming from Canada and US is January, February, March, and April. So that's really the busy season. So they've just been working up to the busy season and Christmas being the busiest part of that. Just, we're going back to Canada actually. And so it's minus 25 this week with a lot of snow. And now it's going to warm up by the time we get there on Friday. But so you can see that's why they're all coming down. They want to come down to this beautiful place and not freeze. And that's minus 25 Celsius. So it's the same here. So your big boss is telling you that truth, is they're saying they're just bringing more people in. And it's getting you, though, to think about as you have new people, as you're going through and you want to keep this job, just recognizing what goes well and keeping in that vein. And what is your next question that you have for me? I'm going to shake up my cards again. Yeah, see what is your next question. Second question, do the boss, sub-bosses, and the mates surprise my capacity of doing some things at this job? Okay, so really you're wondering, like, how are they thinking about you? And are they surprised? Okay, because you're doing well. Let's see. What is the general intention? And this time I'm using Wild Reflections Tarot. I like to use different tarot, just, Okay, let's see. Okay, doesn't want to shuffle easily for me today. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Just shuffling away. I have the Queen of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Empress. Interesting. So Queen of Swords and 5 of Pentacles are in reverse. So I'm going to let you know what they are. And the Empress is just a beautiful card and it's a major arcana. So the Queen of Swords is the suit of air. It's the suit of analytical and really thinking about what's going on. And right now they're still thinking, they're still getting to know you, they're still making some deliberations. But the 5 of Pentacles this way is saying things are going well. Things like with this is our thinking, this is our negative thinking. And you've changed how you're thinking. You've changed how you're approaching everything. You're changing how you're thinking about yourself and how great you are and the gifts that you have, and you come to share. And that's what's going to happen as you continue to really embrace who you are. as you embrace who you are, this is what's going on, is that, and so you need to not, so there's a thing about energy. That's what this is talking about, because the Empress cards is things are going to go well. Things are going to go really well for you as we continue to move forward. That's what the Empress card is talking about. And so when the Five of Pentacles is in protection, this really talks about energy, and it's talking about be careful what you call in, because sometimes we can be so worried and we can really fixate and worry in our minds again and again, that people don't like me, this is going to go bad, this is going to go bad. And it actually calls in that very energy. Instead, this is getting you to shift into a different format, and things will go well with that. As you think about yourself doing well, interacting with your mates well, interacting with your fellow colleagues and the bosses and all the people that you're serving, as you're thinking about that and saying, I do good work, I am a good worker, I am an amazing human, I have so many gifts to share. That's why this keeps on coming. That's why this keeps on just blossoming. And that card is really one of cornucopia. That one is just about abundance coming in, abundance, and bringing that abundance for you. And so it's really, this is talking about, regardless, and I'm going to say this, regardless of if, let's say the worst were to happen and you were to lose this job, you will get another job right away. That's what this is saying. Things are going to go well for you. And I need you to start looking how things are going well for you. I need you to start observing and saying, look, that person was happy. That went well. That went well. And that's what this is talking about. So you were saying, Pedro, in those jobs, the bosses are very busy. But today you received a call from your boss, but he told you it wasn't you that he wanted to call. So also on the first 2 days after I saw you, I was worried about one of my mates because I didn't like their attitudes. And I told him, okay. And how did that go? And it's really working with you staying in that less emotional energy and more when you're at work, you're in this energy of professionalism. You're in this energy of doing your work in a good way. So I'm going to assume that when you talked about his attitude and what you told him, that you did it in a good way. You did it in a way that was able to say, you know, you need to make good choices and you need to work hard. Right? So how are you doing that? So is that your next question? So let's see. What is your mate? I'm going to go, what is your mate? Just going to go right here. What is your mate thinking about you? So we're going to use the same. Let's see. So you talk to your mate. So this is talking about that. And well, it's very positive. Yeah, that's what this is saying. It's very positive. Ace of Wands. It's the beginning. And so I think it's that beginning, and it's you really watching. So when he's saying calm down, it's that professionalism. You can speak the truth, and you can speak the truth in a calm way. And so just learning how to breathe, just learning how to have that energy and learning how to trust that what you're seeing and how you're seeing it is in a good way. And that's what this is saying. The Ace of Wands is saying, in regards to him, it's the beginning of something new. Ace of Wands is about fire, creativity, and Ace is the beginning of that suit. It's the beginning of good things happening. And it might be that you've helped that person and you didn't even know it, and they had an opportunity to grow because of what you shared with them. And that's powerful. And it is saying it's going to continue. You need to, though, this This is saying, though, for you to continue to look. I'm just doing what is the energy from the Colette Baron Reed's Pedro that you need? So it says vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. So it's this idea of that when you're moving forward and you're learning, and maybe when you talk to him, you were a bit emotional, but nothing is wasted. So you're learning. Life is teaching you how to move forward. And you have another question. What do the mates feel about me? They feel that I'm out of the box, like a mate they've never had at a bar like me, which can be mysterious. I think, okay, well, we'll ask that question, but this tells me that they're not sure what's going on. They're unsure at this moment, but we're going to ask. So what do they think about you? How are you coming across? I'm going to use a different deck. This is the Cosmic. Okay, Cosmic. Okay. Okay, here we go. What do these mates feel about you? Do they think that you are mysterious, unique? Okay. So the Wheel of Fortune is just that. It's talking about fate. So, and this is a major arcana card, and you have the World, which is next. It's the end of all the major arcanas, and it's in protection. And we have the King of Wands in protection. Wands is that suit of creativity. And so the Wheel of Fortune is really about fate. And I see it out as the difference between fate and destiny. So fate are things that happen to us. They're just things that happen to us. And destiny are the choices we make to call in what we want. For example, if you want to have good mates at this job, then you start looking, you start doing that, connecting with them in good ways, being emotional in good ways. It's the destiny. What is it you feel in your heart calling you to do? And destiny is just saying, okay, well, whatever happens, happens. And the World is the ending. And so I'm leaning into this because this is, for me, I'm just like, because there's an ending that's happening, or calling in an ending for you, which is interesting. An ending, and I don't see it as the end of a job. I see it as, because this is a big cosmic ending. And it's the ending of drama. Actually, the Five of Wands is in protection. And it's this one is all about competition, drama, people arguing with each other. And it's talking about you are entering in. So it's inviting you in the Wheel of Fortune to enter into a new way of connecting with your mates, connecting with the people around you. You're very emotional. And now you're calling in a different way, a different destiny, which brings you to the King of Wands and bringing in who you really are. This person who has so much joy, love, fire, passion to share, but you're going to share it when it's appropriate. You're going to share it at the right time. You're going to share it in the right way. And that's an important piece for you. So what are they thinking about you? They are seeing that these are important, and they are beginning to understand who you are. I'm just trying to let me see this one. Okay, yes. So you would have been emotional. So, and it's saying, see, that you are working towards that. And that's what's changing for you. And it's interesting. It's saying protectress. Your energy is valuable. Protect it well. Setting up boundaries for you. So part of the Wheel of Fortune is important boundaries for you with your mates. Where are you going to share with them things that you can trust with them? So some of the colleagues that I've had in my life and that I worked with and I saw every day didn't know all parts of my life. They didn't know I did cards. They didn't know I was interested in a lot of this because some of them, that's not something they would be interested in, and they might have even been judgmental about it. And so I wasn't willing to share that part of my life with them, not because I was ashamed. That's very clear. I'm not ashamed, but I just don't need to invite those people into my life. So in here, this is talking about with your mates, who are you trusting? Who's invited into a closer part of your group? Who do you keep at a distance and you share with them colleague information? You share with them, oh, it's nice weather today. Oh my gosh, did it rain last night for you? Because there was a huge rainstorm 2 nights ago, right? You just share the basics. And that's an important piece that's coming through for you with your mates is recognizing to change and shift that you are trusting the people. And this is also saying trusting your own intuition. So you know who you can trust. Even if you want to believe in the best of them, if they show you who they are, believe them. And now you're saying, I feel that it is maybe the end of drama and only stand up like I do when they throw a little shade to a mate. That's when I say, leave Sophia in place. What matters is we're happy. She's empowered. I agree. See, that's good. I also have some word reaction when some guys say things that I feel are inappropriate in service. Yes. And you know what? Saying to someone at that point, saying that's inappropriate is a very professional way. And your bosses in a good way. So to say to someone that is inappropriate, which is just a very low level cue, you're not going to get emotional. You're just going to be like, that's inappropriate. You need to stop that. And then you move on to something else will be very helpful for you. And that's where they're going to start seeing you as someone who has more and more professional service, more and more valuable to them. And that's what you're wanting to do. So this is powerful. So you are changing how you're reacting and how you're interacting with your people, and you're becoming, because as soon as you're able to share and tell people that they're inappropriate in a good way and cue them, then what they see is that when you do talk about who you are and share that share that with the people you trust. Only share your heart with the people you trust at work. Don't trust everyone. And not that people are bad or evil, but people have their own stuff, and you just make sure you recognize who you trust. And that's what it's talking about is really following. And I'm getting following your intuition. You know who you can trust at work. You know who you can share yourself with and show more of your true personality. And you're saying, Pedro, and I don't respond to everything. Sometimes I do get my mouth shut because I don't want to see people, oh, he's always defending women. Also, I say this, oh my God, poor thing. As I say this, oh my God, poor thing. Well, you know what? And I think it's always, So being a woman, I can just tell you, I believe that we always have an opportunity to stand up for people who do not have power, whoever that is. That might be a child, that might be a woman, that might be someone who is of a different religion. So depending on where you're at, this is a very Catholic country. I grew up Catholic as well, but in some places, if you're Muslim or if you're Jehovah's Witness or a different religion, for some people, then they throw shade. They don't agree with diversity. And so this is just my personal opinion. I'm not reading it in the cards, but it is talking about I'm just going to wonder what you need to surrender into for there. So for me, I think it's important. You'll know when it's too much. When it's standing up. And this is really about who you are as this person, this King of Wands. You are a person who is, I'm assuming from our discussions, experienced people not being kind to you. And I know I have. And so I'm sensitive to it. I'm aware of it. And I make sure that if have the ability to, and I can do it in a kind way and just say, oh, no, right? And I can just be kind. And so you'll find that way. So what is it asking you to surrender into? Like, what is it you're growing as you do that? Saying surrender stress, Pedro. So when the Empress was there, when the good things are coming, I want you also now to be looking at stress. So it's saying surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension that you bring up in your body. Let the stress go and come back to your center. So when I talk about your good energy, when I talk about trusting you, so this is surrendering to stress. So breathe and maybe take 10 deep breaths before you respond. And this might be the way that you're going to connect to your center, your core, and you're going to see, is it just a reaction to something? Or am I really sensing that this person is meaning to do harm? And I agree. I don't like people being unkind to other people. And I have to be very judicial. I make sure that I don't laugh. I make sure that I walk away. I make sure that I do everything that says I do not agree. And sometimes I have chosen not to have a big argument. Sometimes I've had to, just at that particular moment, it was a family function, and I just said, it's not going to change how this person thinks. But I'm definitely not going to laugh or be part of it. I'm going to walk away and just say, yeah, I disagree with that, and walk away and just not engage with an argument because I can't change their mind. And so sometimes that might be, but for you, it's talking about surrendering to the stress. So when you're feeling that, trusting your gut, just breathing and breathing. And then before you respond, just breathe and just see, because then you're going to be responding knowing, is this a time when I need to say something? Is this a time when I just need to not be part of this and walk away? Is this a time when I need to stand up because they're taking it too far? And you will know. This card is saying that you know, and you will have that right sense of the timing for it, because you'll just settle into knowing what's going on, which goes the same way, because it's saying, like, even it's coming in, like, because you've asked before about your family, about different people. This is talking about, you need to, where in your days do you take deep breaths to connect to your heart, to your soul? And recognizing that you can hear your own intuition. You can hear your own spirit team, your own angels, your own loved ones in spirit talking to you. And so but you have to find that quiet, the quietness from your emotions, the quietness from your mind. And that sometimes just takes a bit of practice. And we take the bus when we're here, so we spend a lot of time on a bus. And as busy as it is, it's also a perfect time to just be quiet. Not sure if you take the bus or if you're going to and from work. Sometimes that's a really good time when we're busy in our days, but we can just sit in our own energy, sit in our own job. So so trust, this is saying, when they exaggerate, or you might not want to trust them. And I think people sometimes use those kind of jokes to see where people are at and say, can we make jokes about other people? Can we do these? And you're setting a stage for the people you work with that no, I don't like when we say derogatory, rude comments towards women, towards anybody, towards any people that are different from who the people are. And it's important that we treat everybody with dignity and respect, no matter where we are. And I'm a huge believer of that. And I'm like you. I do stand up for people, and I have stood up for people and had, but I found I'm way more powerful when I do it from a calm space. I am way more powerful than, and because when I argue with people from emotion and anger and frustration, my message gets lost. And so, Pedro, you said, absolutely. For example, a mate told me, do you want to go with all the guys doing cart in December? And my mind was like, I don't know you outside the job, so I'm definitely not going. Yeah. So it's this idea of you trust yourself. You will know who the people are you can trust. Excuse me. And that's what the message I'm getting for you, Pedro, is that you do have a strong, all your emotions. I have like ribbons, this vibrant ribbons kind of all around you and just coming deep into your heart, your soul, into your chest. Very, very powerful. And so it's recognizing that for you, to breathe and to respond, not from stress, anger, or frustration, but to do this from your center. And I mean, and when you make a mistake, you have to forgive yourself. Because even though I'm saying all of these things, do this, you know what? Sometimes I don't do it. And I do get frustrated. I do get angry, and I get in arguments, and it's actually not going to help me. So then I need to forgive myself, and I need to move on, and I need to say, okay, next time I'm going to choose that. Right. And you're not saying that the person itself is not trustworthy. You just see them from inside the job. Yeah. And that's when I said those words, trust who they are showing you. If they're not trustworthy inside the job, or if they have different ways of speaking, acting, or treating people, they're showing you who they are. Trust who they are. And sensing who they are. And this is what I'm saying, that you have a strong sense of who people are. So trust that. Trust that you know who they are. And that how you are able to interact with them. And that's where, because you're going to have less arguments, things are going to change, because as you respond from breathing, as you respond from trusting in your own intuition and knowing how to respond, just because you're going to breathe like 10 deep breaths, and then you're going to choose a response. That's going to tie you into a deeper strength and intuitive strength that will help you be very, very powerful in your work, in your human, and it will call to you the right people, right? And because you've been on this journey of self-love, and that's an important piece, right? And so recognizing that, and to celebrate how things have positively changed. And that's what people are seeing around you. And I'm getting for you also, I pulled an Asher, because for you, you're growing. We've been talking about that, your self-love. And for you, this is tobacco offering. So this is Indigenous of Canada and United States. And do you have an offering that you do? Do you, is there a way that you connect with the divine? Is there a way that you connect with your spirit team? I know for myself, I collect all these shells behind me. I collect different things on the beach. This is a dialogue. And my offering to them is my joy, my happiness, my being in the present moment, and seeing the gifts that they are offering me, seeing the different ways that they're weaving in my life and that I'm becoming aware of it. So I want you to think this week for yourself, Pedro, what are your offerings? And maybe your offering is the 10 deep breaths. And you're going to be present, and you're going to be present with the divine within you. And that's your offering. Your offering is just de-stressing yourself and responding in all things you do from that center of your soul, from your heart. And maybe I'm getting a sense, I'm getting flowers. Is there, this is like from your grandma from last week. She brought pink, beautiful, because they're not carnations, there's these beautiful pink flowers. And is there a way that you connect with your loved one in spirit? And you have this dialogue, knowing that they love you, knowing that you are deeply worthy of love. And do you connect with that? Do you spend time in that energy, in their love? And that's what they're asking. That's the offering. So I want you to pick the flower that she loves completely and wholly. And I want you to see that flower, whether you buy it, whether you see it outside in nature. And when you see it, I want you to stop, put your hand on your heart, and recognize how deeply you are loved. That's the message that I'm getting to you. That's the offering. The offering is your calmness, your moment, your joy, your happiness, and recognizing how deeply you are loved. And you're loved whether or not you stand up for people. You are loved whether or not you do good things. You are loved just because you breathe and you exist. And they are there holding you and loving you. And this is an important message that they need for you. Okay, so you can feel your grandmother. And your question is, so this, and then your question is your cousin Roberto. So your cousin Roberto. Does my cousin Roberto see a change in me? Like if I'm different now with 25 years? So I'm going to assume it's this sense of, what is this change? So this relationship and how he views you in this life. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we're going to connect with the energy of Roberto. Okay. We have the 8, the Strength card. We have the Ace of Wands. And we have the King of Wands. So the the Strength card is in protection. And this is a major arcana. And the Strength card is this card of strength. There's a lion. So here we have a lion and a young girl and a lamb. And it's talking about, and you're saying, and you apologized to him in 2000, and you did that by message. So it's saying there's the beginning of it. So that's why it's in protection. These two cards are in protection. And then I have the Knight of Wands. So it's saying that this is the beginning. So if you want this to continue, you need to have the strength with your calm mind as you're creating this calmness about you, as you're creating who you are, to reach out and say Merry Christmas, to reach out in this time of celebration and just saying, sending you holiday blessings. Not sure what that sounds like and how you can do that. Okay, so in difficulty, so start it. It's having the strength and it's the beginning. So it's starting, it's the beginning. So where is he? It's just in the beginning, but it's having the strength to start. If this is what's important to you, it's sending deep, deep love. And the Knight of Wands is saying that it's going to work well. But it's not going to go easy. It's not like this is an easy journey. But if your cousin Roberto, this is talking about you have to reach out. You have to have the strength to reach out through messages at first, and just saying, like, I've been thinking about you, and just saying some positive holiday messages that have nothing to do with the issue, but have everything to do with the building of the relationship and just building that relationship. And it's the beginning. So this Ace of Wands is that beginning. So it's turning in and it's starting. But it is difficult. And in this, you have apologized. And sometimes when we apologize, they still might have emotions that we have to listen to. And that's still really hard as they process their emotions with us. And so it's recognizing that you have done all of the self-forgiveness beforehand so that you can come in relationship with him and you can hold space for him to have emotions, so that you have to have the strength for this to happen in order for this to start, and then it will work really well. And that's hard. It's hard to recognize, but people have to process emotions before they can get often to that place. And so you have to have the strength for this to begin. And it begins slowly. And then there's going to be a time when you have to have the strength to listen to his point of view and his perception, even if you don't agree with it. And it doesn't mean that you allow the person to call you names, make you feel bad, belittle you at all. That's not what you're saying. What it does say, though, is having the strength, so sending deep love and to yourself. So remember, you have to come in knowing that you are worthy of having a positive relationship. I'm just getting in. Or no, there's something about this that's going to be challenging for you. Learning to go through it will be an important part of finding out who you are. They're not letting me know yet what it is. It's it will be challenging, and it might not come back to the way it is, but this is going to be important for you to figure this out, to figure out the way it is. Well, my beautiful Pedro, I know it's shorter today. We're getting ready to pack up. So definitely fifth question. Will Lady Gaga get a Grammy? I have no idea. I do not know if Lady Gaga will get a Grammy. That is a good question. One can always hope. And I am not sure. That's a good question, Pedro. We are getting ready to pack up as we get ready to fly home to that beautiful cold weather. I just want to thank you, Pedro. I'll still be here next Wednesday, but I'll be coming to you from Canada. And just the collective of make sure you play, make sure you enjoy the energy that's going on. Blessings, take care, and keep leading with your soul.